Locked and loaded and finally into things as we jump straight in off the deep end, Snod. It's not looking good here for Endpoint.
No, it's not indeed. Actually, a 4 versus 2. Making a 4 versus 1. And we're going to be front of the frag onto Aaron. Sent home early, not only at Copenhagen Games, but also in this round.
Yeah, actually a big round coming out there from Radix. They've made it work. Angry with a hat-trick of kills. Neff with a nice little frag as well. Of course, so the unfair factor is Snod. He's got Dooley, so 2 guns are always better than 1.
Yeah, exactly. 2 for the price of 1 there. And actually found a frag with the Julies as well. Pistol going in favour of Radix. The maps being Cash, Nuke, and Train. So initial thoughts on that?
I think it's interesting. I think this is actually now shaping up for there to be potential for Radix. This is upset territory. It just depends what's going to be going on in the minds of Endpoint. Obviously, this is their series to lose. They are the favourites, but Radix are definitely the team to win an upset.
Yeah, most definitely, right? For Radix as well, coming into this one. Right now, in terms of online form, they have shown some good prowess, really. I mean, individually as well, a few of the players here from the Radix side have been definitely delivering. But yeah, anyway, for Endpoint here, obviously, bomb planted in the last round. Going to be going for the Felico into this one. They have PT50s across the board. One Deagle there for Pulse. Obviously, finding a frag into that last round means he can afford the Deagle here.
Angry just going to be trying to find frags towards mid as well. Not really too much to work with on the side of Endpoint. Don't have utility, just light investment to his PT50s. Well, we're going to grab a Deagle. Lazar actually finds that kill though, Snoz. He goes contact up there, takes down Angry. He can't quite recover the M4. So still left into a bit of a stalemate as the push comes now around towards B, and Bowden makes some money with the MP9.
Does indeed. For Radix here, obviously 2 rifles still into commission. Hyper the aggression towards him, going to be hunting down Aaron as well. Not going to be wary of the flank coming in from behind. Has retrieved the M4 though from the corpse from Angry. Unable to really capitalize with that one though. And that's last alive, eventually going to be dispatched there from Bonemaster. So 2-0 here so far for Radix, but it should be the buy coming out for Endpoint now. 5 AKs at that, and actually Endpoint a team that can really, rock the 5 AK setup. And, when you imagine these teams where you have your AWPer, your primary AWPer, usually, they're going to be weaker on that rifle. But actually for Lazar, the argument is there. Is he better with the rifle? Is he better with the AKs? Is he better with the AWP, for example? Definitely a versatile and multi-talented player. Molotov early on though towards Boost with that MP9. Where is Angry playing? Or, excuse me, Neff playing towards close aim in with the MP9. Already the first player taken out of the server by Weber through the smoke, finding the frag onto Angry, so the bullets do connect through the spray and the smoke itself. So now 5 versus 4, Endpoint can group up together, go towards one of the sites as a 5-man unit, trade the frags so they come in as well, and it should be their round.
Going to be slowly going for this push down as well. Getting the information play out here. Max, though, holding towards Sunroom. Let's see if he can shine through his skill into this round and actually find these frags. He bites his time, bites his tongue, and then eventually gets that kill back on towards Bodemaster. Now only Hype and Neff remains, Nods, and this is looking very good for Endpoint. Not a single casualty yet. Not even too much damage taken. I mean, Aaron's the only one that's even remotely low right now. Gets himself a free AWP as well. Pulse still fighting through, takes down Neff. It's all on Hype towards mid. This has not gone well for Radix.
5 players alive as well here for Endpoint. So first round they won here. They are going to go 2-1 up. Hype most likely going to be trying to save the M4 Kev. That also has some great utility to work with as well. Radix having the clean round versus the Antico in the last round. So into round number 4, potentially they can still buy. Especially as well if Hype does manage to save the M4 into the next one. 3 players from Endpoint. Station towards T-spawn, but Hype actually get the 1 frag and then duck away. Goes back in towards middle. Doesn't walk into the stack from Endpoint there towards T-spawn.
Yeah, that's big for him as well. He needs to save this, right? You've got so much utility there. You've got your Kevlar and your helmet. You've got defuse kit as well. There's no point just chucking that away and losing it for no reason. So good to see Hype actually does get off with a save. And it really relies quite heavily on him now, depending on what they do going into these later stages. If they're going to force up around it, try and go for something risky. Meanwhile, on the side of Endpoint, it's going to be quite classic. Lazar now on the AWP as well, as that will get switched over to him.
Yeah, now this is what we wanted to see. The full buy here from the side of Endpoint, no longer going to be onto the the 5 AK buy with weak utility. Now they have the 4 AKs, Warp as well onto Lazar. We're actually going back and forth with the duel towards middle. Obviously in the last round, found the first frag on towards Angry. This time Angry spamming through the smoke that Weber killed him from last time. And will win that exchange. So 12 HP left for Weber. Oh, Lazar spots the shoulder. Angry will go for the wide face, but still. That's missing the shot. Means it is still a 5 versus 5 here, but Endpoint have Weber, their IGL, their captain, their leader, onto low HP.
Endpoint. Just trying to keep Radix on their toes right now. Snod's really just making a little bit of noise. Starting to show a bit of skin towards a few different areas. Obviously for Max as well, still just on the lurk by Sunroom, seeing if there is going to be aggression from Radix. But as of right now, they do just hold, setting up to go for this A take. Capers takes down Pulse though, finds the first kill with a Famous. He's only tagged up to 55, so he is staying alive and in a pretty good position to defend this if they do push through, Snods.
Yeah, especially now as well. Max leaving the B site, coming in towards A. Just coming up for around though, can maybe go for a peek here towards Highway, peek in towards Connector potentially. Angry this time after conceding the first frag in the last round towards middle, playing far more reserved here. Oh, Arrow simply throwing out the grenades, all wide face towards middle. Makes the noise dropping down, Angry's gonna hear those footsteps, and Aaron walks into the crosshair. 3 versus 5 now.
This could be a reset round. Endpoint might actually lose this if it carries on the fashion it's going. Capers comes through. Gets that frag back on towards Mighty Max now. It's just Lazar and Weber that remain. Angry's gonna spot out the first man. And all of a sudden it's left on Lazar, but can Joe Ducky Loose somehow go wild into the round? Snods, he's going to be pushed back, and they are just hitting him with everything they've got. They actually might try to go for the knife as well. They wanted to butcher him down.
Wait, what? Why did
Capers found the frag with the M4 though.
Oh, dude. Could have been the knife, should have been the knife, and Radix taking those risks when their money isn't even high at all. Obviously, usually you take those sort of risks when you have, you know, massive round buffer or not a cash to really throw away, essentially, because look at the money now here, Jack. This is very resettable enough for Endpoint. You know, lots of fun on those 2 frags at the end of the round. They mean the reset can be on the cards here from Endpoint. Rush towards middle, but already Angry finds the first timeline to the second as well, but eventually going to be traded up by Pulse.
He's already done his job though, Snods. Oh, unfortunately, there's the reset from Pulse, or that would have been a prime time position to be in for Radix. But at this point, Endpoint still potentially on the back pedal. They do have the advantage in terms of if they group up, try and go for a site control. Obviously, a 3v3 like this is going to favour the Ts, but the utility is the fact that it's going to be a bit awkward for him. It's only a single flash there on Pulse. Aaron's got a smoke, but that's really it. Still a minute and 15 left on the clock as well, so there's a while to go. For Radix, though, double Molotov, 1 flashbang and a HE, Snods.
3 versus 3, Endpoint. If they went towards the A site right now, could potentially have the 3 versus 1 all on to Bottom Master, but he has the AWP as well. Can play the long range angle, you know. Jiggle peek from A main in towards Highway. Can clear his flank as well. It seems like Endpoint are poised to potentially group in towards the B site. Vents are broken as the footsteps are made now in towards Checkers.
They've got the luck of the drawing depending on the AWP, but still the M4s, and Hype's going to reign supreme. Dismantles them with the first 2 frags. Capers as well there to try and lend some aid now. He has to just hold the site. Lazar, not interested, Snods. He's going to reposition. He's going to risk it. Try and go for the old sprint play up towards the A site. He's got time to do it. Goes out through mid. As it works over close towards short. Bowden just depends on the peak. If he's got the confidence to go for the face, he should find this frag. Will do so. Takes him down as he smites him there with the AWP. That's another round going the way of Radix as they start to get some momentum going now. 4 rounds on the board. Endpoint broke in terms of economy as well, Snods. This should be a 5th. Yeah,
potentially. I mean, especially when you look at the buy coming out from Endpoint. Winning the last round, being reset now onto this one. Round number 6, 4-1 up here for Radix. And it may go 5-1. SMG is going to be invested into as well here from the CT side. MP9s for both Hype and Neth. If they win this round as well, cleanly, efficiently, having 4 or 5 players staying alive so they can absorb the round win bonus, you know, Radix can get off to a good start here, not only by the rounds, but also monetary.
That's true. One of the questions I was wondering as well, because obviously you were there with Ferrari Peekers.
Right.
You came in for the coach at the last moment. Oh, this could be huge from Hype actually as well, by the way, Snows. This could be a mass cash builder. If he does go for the extension round, does find the first. Hype just being given 3 frags here towards Endpoint. Max the only one to actually stub him back. Back on track with what I was saying there. Obviously for Capers, the only one from the lineup that was there.
Yep.
Now, obviously, in terms of things, Captain IGL of this roster.
Yep.
Trying to be the brains behind the scene. We actually saw that team do very well, nearly beating out Winner Rain in the grand final. What do you think that's going to transition over? Do you think this actually could be a confidence boost for Capers as well? Coming into this could be quite good, obviously. Back again, you're in that playoff stage immediately. If they win this, that's back into another LAN environment for him. That could be pretty good confidence play to actually have that done now.
Yeah, actually, you know, one of the nice things of being the coach, obviously, is you do get the real good inside look of the team, right? And actually, he was probably, I would say, Eccles, Capers, definitely the most composed players. And that surprised me, you know.
Okay.
In terms of sort of stage experience for Eccles, you know, Gfinity obviously had the 1 week, feels bad, man. But obviously, he also had gamers and whatnot, so the stage experience was there for him on that you know, higher caliber.
Yeah, he's started to bin through it a bit more now. Ek was definitely getting some experience in terms of that. Aaron going to find the first frag towards Nefta, but Capers with a double back through. Makes it a triple. Actually, it's hype to come through. But still, nicely done into this round. Dismantles anything Endpoint can throw in.
It's very true, but back to the point as well, you know, it surprised me actually how composed and calm Capers was. You know, was it more of his personality? I wasn't quite sure, but he definitely actually was one of the best performing players from the Ferrari Peakers mixer that came second.
A few cheeky rounds with the AWP, to be honest with you. He was
Yeah,
being able to actually, especially on train towards the latter stages, he was actually getting quite a few impact frags.
Yeah, Whisk as well at the 1 versus 4.
Oh, Whisk was just naughty, by the way, that entire event.
He was very good, very good. But anyway, 5-1 here. Capers from that roster that came second only probably less than 20 hours ago.
Yeah, I mean, this morning, if you think about it.
This morning, it was.
Anyway, back into the round now. There's still only 2 players left for Endpoint, trying to go for this attack over the A site. Flashbangs are coming through. Hype just going to be lying in wait. Such an audacious position. Weber will kill him, but he's still low from it. It's Weber and Max now, the 2 people you want if it is going to be a clutch, but Weber had no HP to play with, so he couldn't really fight through that efficiently. Max just trying to tiptoe out of there, be a bit stealthy. Let's see if the mighty man can actually do it. He does have a plan, Snods.
Oh, he's also got the bomb jack. Not only a plan, slips his way through. Capers wary as well. And maybe they have an inkling here that they could have gone towards Carp. And especially now as they hear the steps thundering towards the B site, the bomb will go down. The clutch master himself, Mighty Max, in the 1 versus 3. Kits though for the CT side. And the Molotovs. This is a hard round.
Depends how Max opts to play it as well. Relies so heavily on everything being flawless. Capers with a HE in, goes for the push. Bowden connects the shot as well as the smoke comes down. Everything coming through at the instant time in there. Bomb defuse. 6-1 is the scoreline now. And you look at the veto, right? Obviously, Cash, it's a map that Radix can play. And it's definitely a map that Mighty Max is always going to have flashbacks about.
Is that a...
It's, well, to be honest,
there's a lot of references you could go with that one.
For the past 3 rosters that Max has been in, right, Cash has always been a bit of a pivotal one. I remember the, what was it, the old...
Are you trying to bring up Shaney?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to remember who it was.
I thought this was a Shaney.
It wasn't a Shaney mix. No, it was a Shaney dig.
There's just a... Oh, don't worry.
No, Max has always had some troubles on Cash, mate. It's always been a bit of an awkward map for him. Angry, though. Trying to go for a cheeky place now. Snaps the neck of Weber.
Gosh, call him livid at this point.
They now group up, going for this play out on A. Nef's the only one that's going to try and fight it aggressively. Support of Capers as he now rotates back in. Obviously smoked off, so he has to try and go for a more up-close position. The T-side push does come through, but they're not really finding too much success. Luzza has to try and make the play. Aaron will come through with Luzza as they now start to slay him, Snods. It's into the 3v3. Now it's a winnable round, but the backstab of Angry. That could be so huge in the latter stages. Hype goes out on his lonesome, falls short, as Aaron's going to just obliterate him with the AK-47. 2 versus 3 on the retake. You've got double kit, you've got utility, and you've got Angry coming in from the rear. Has to try and tackle Pulses. He will be able to get a lucky shot off back in towards his head there. Pop flash throughs. He's going to peek out and go for it. Angry's just dealing deadly blows. And it's all up to Luzza. He doesn't have an AWP, but he does have an AK, and it's just as efficient in his hands. They go around the angle. Bowden will spot it first. 7-1 is the scoreline, Snods. They're racking up these rounds fast.
There's no need to commit to the spray there from Pulse. Just jiggle, peek around quad, spot out where the players are. Spot out Bowden Master towards Highway. Also spot out, obviously, Angry towards a main. And at that point, you can peek off of Aaron's contact. If you're Pulse, obviously, Angry walks out. Aaron takes first contact. Pulse swings left. Easy, as a bare minimum, trade. But Pulse commits to the spray. Loses that one. Great flash from Angry. Pivots it to the right. Catches Aaron looking the wrong way. 7-1 here in favor of Radix. Now 6-round deficit for Endpoint. We'll see the bomb going down and the maximum round loss bonus means they can still afford the buy. Orb from Bodermeister getting aggressive in towards door. Aggression as well from Anki in towards middle, but actually going to be taking it back for him. Or may just stay instead. Fakes the break towards Vet. For now, default coming from Endpoint, obviously slowing these rounds down. They've gone fast towards middle. They've gone for the group plays towards the A side. Haven't really been seeing too much towards B. You know, B split via events could be rather challenging, obviously. Angry faking the vent pop noise. But yeah, once again, leaving one player towards the A site, having extra players towards middle, playing very heavy towards B, Radix, as it seems like they've had the right calls every single round.
Once again with the mid-aggression now for Endpoint. As they try and test the waters early on. Molotov going out to cause the reshuffle and the resituation of the defense for Radix, but Angry, he's just going to be playing through it. He's confident about this, goes for the initial frag. That's a nice kill on towards Aaron as well. Nearly the follow-up, as he is just consistently going for these repeats. Angry's playing with absolute confidence, Nods, as he's able to dome down against Lazar there. Only Weber will be able to eventually end his reign of terror. But already it's a 3v4 into the round. 30 seconds left. Grouped up outside of B for what appears to be a late round crunch. Nods, it needs to be flawless from Endpoint.
Oh, most definitely. They have a smoke though onto Weber 4 CT, so they can cross. As they make their way in here, Capers spots 2 players in towards B main. Hype now entrenched in towards default, going to be hitting the steps across the site. Finds the first, goes for the refrag potentially. The spray transfer does not connect, but the shots through the smoke do as he leaps through it, leaving just Weber alone in a 1 versus 2. 6 seconds left. He has to make sure he doesn't die before the timer does eventually conclude. Oh, that was close.
Yeah, go for the wall bang as well, Bowden. Weber, though, gets away with the save, only 5 HP. He's able to clutch onto the AK for another day, but even then, that's now an 8-1 scoreline. Even if you just look at this on paper, right, you've got to look at the caliber of players for Endpoint. Mighty Max, Aaron, Lazar, Weber, Pulse, huge names, right?
In the UK, huge names.
This is the fact that some of these players have played at the absolute top scene for ridiculous amounts of time. Even if you crush points back to 1.6, you've got that pedigree there on Aaron. If you're talking about Source, it's the fact that players like Max, Weber as well, obviously Weber being the big one from there, Pulse coming through, all of them have years and years of wealth of experience. But that's not being translated into this matchup right now. Radix are just dominating them. The average age on these Radix players is a lot younger as well. It's just the fact that actually Hype has been someone that now he's sort of come back into the UK scene has really been proving he's formidable these days.
Oh, incredibly gifted individually in terms of his raw aim. Plays some, high sensitivity, hits those fast flicks, very good at landing the double headshot. He's actually one of the best players I've seen in the UK with the M4, surprisingly. That's
true. 30 bullet M4, Hype can be ridiculous. And it
feels like all those clips he has is on the CT side.
That's what it is.
30 bullet M4.
It just comes down to the fact that he's one of those sick players as well, like with the MP9, right? Because he's very crisp at being able to get fast flick shots. He's very much a Twitch player in terms of how he aims.
3 versus 2, though. The man we spoke about, Hype, going to be alive into the 2 versus 3. He has to really go huge now as they are in a man deficit. The boost coming in towards quad, going to spot out towards highway. No one from Endpoint, or should I say Radix coming in from highway. Instead it's in towards A main. But Weber and Lazar both together.
And we spoke about Hyped, and he's going to try and get us hyped into this one, but instead it's Brandon Weber to come through. Rolls back the ears as he dusters off the AK. Finds the first frag on Hype now. It's all up to Capers trying to retake this bomb site. It's going to be a hard round as he goes for actually finds a quick flick there, takes down the man himself in Weber. It's all up to Lazar now. He's going to come out on top as he pushes in hard and fast, thundering around, making a lot of noise, trying to bait out Lazar. Goes for the contact, fake Capers. He's done it. That's a defuse as well. He'll be able to get in the last second. That is a 9-1 scoreline now.
This is mad.
I mean, yeah, it is.
Yeah, mate. You're not wrong, actually. Yeah, me too.
Fair play, actually, yeah.
Yeah, me, same.
Same but more.
Same but more. Well, you heard it there from the horse's mouth. Capers.
This is mad.
This is mad. 9-1. 8-round advantage now for Radix so far on the CT side. Endpoint have now lost 3 versus 2, or 4 versus 3, and a 1 versus 2, I believe.
A lot of clutch rounds.
A lot of clutch rounds. Wow, Angry really feeling the confidence they're gleaming from themselves after having such a strong amount of rounds already in the CT side, but maybe a bit too audacious, a bit too aggressive there. Maybe take the backseat here because it's been the later round portions where you've been having your success. The 1 versus 3s, the 3 versus 3s, the after plants especially. Well, nevertheless though, Radix seems like they've always been able to come back into each and every one of these rounds. And on the CT side on Cash as well, already up 8 rounds. So going into that T half, they're going to be extremely happy, even if Endpoint find the remaining rounds here on this T side for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, a 9-1 scorelines, Nods. Endpoint, when they get onto that CT side, it needs to be absolutely flawless. We're talking the best CS they can play needs to be coming out. But right now, Bowden with the first frag as well, trades it back on towards Mighty Max. It goes into a 4v4. Hype. He could be deadly if they don't clear this angle. You can see Pulse is actually trying to look towards, but Pulse doesn't fully extend around, doesn't clear the angle. Bombs down. Hype now has a read onto that. And the rest of the players, they can't really actually react about this as well. Weber's so low, and it seems like he's the one being forced to go for the entry.
Flashbang comes in. Lazar's all blind, and the shots connect eventually, or not. The USP's whipped up, but both the players remaining here from Endpoint are low. Remember that. 2 HP for Weber, 11 as well for Lazar. One shot from the M4s were taken down, but there's 14 seconds left.
There's also a HE on Bowden. All he's got to do is chuck that out at the right time, play a little bit of bowling. Should be able to blow him out the server. There it is. Bits of Lazar will splatter around the place, and that is going to be another round going the way of Radix. 10-1, Snods.
Yeah, much like a crushed Easter egg.
Exactly that. It's all just crumbled to bits.
10-1. And Endpoint taking a pause here. They need to definitely rethink this one.
Do you know one of my problems as well, by the way, with the UK scene and pauses? I feel like it's always far too late. It's a 10-1 scoreline now.
Oh, yes.
Surely this pause should have come out a while ago.
That's the thing. Whenever we cast, other events where we're doing European teams, it's always like, now tactical pause is called.
Dude, if you go like 4 or 5 rounds down, pause instantly.
Yeah, I know.
Change things.
It's not even that, just
talk about it. Work out what's going on. Try and actually use... But this is the thing that we feel like we never see. Pauses these days with UK teams, it seems to be a little bit more than what we used to have, but it's still quite sparse, few and far between.
Yeah, sometimes when, especially in the T side as well, when you get flustered, right, and calls aren't being heard or certain strats aren't being, ironed out properly, take that pause. Just make sure people know what they're doing. This is one of the things we had yesterday on the stage, right? Obviously, at home, you're going to be able to hear everything just fine, but one of the biggest issues you have is a player not hearing, one part of an execution, one part of a step, one part of a call. And that can really alter everything.
Yeah, that is true, but Hype, he could be the one to water this round. Weber does clear it, but Weber's the only one to focus. Hype, the Lithuanian lunatic, up to his old tricks, a fast free cray. And all of a sudden, it's Mighty Max to try and defend the site as he will get the first frag. That's it going wrong. Bowden there, I know, I realised what I was going on about. It's too far in. Could have been Max, but instead Max was dead.
11-1 here.
It's getting awkward, isn't it? It's not a good scoreline for the Endpoint boys.
But they are putting us back on schedule, right?
You've got to make up that delay somehow.
The one day we don't need to get the train back.
It's very true.
Going to be a 4-man Kevlar buy here from Endpoint. Obviously, just give me the quality buy. They have the max round loss bonus, as we've stated many, many times. That's why they've been able to afford so many buys time and time again. Counter boost coming out from middle. This is going to work fairly effectively here. I don't think actually anyone's holding for this one.
They've also just given him full information on the bomb. Even if they don't try and play around this, he now gets a free read. Re-smoke mid. Weber's going to try and go for the play. Capers should be holding this. It looks like he's reshuffling around. The timing could be awkward for Weber. Oh, Capers barely gets away. Angry still in the elevated angle. Weber with a few misses there. Eventually does find the headshot, but uncharacteristic of him. Responsible for the CZ as well as Lazar gets pistol whipped down. Oh, Neff coming through with a follow-up frag. Angry for a nice little double kill as well. And they're just looking to really wrap this up towards the end of the half. I mean, 12-1. What can you really say?
They left the bomb outside A main.
Yeah.
They made their way onto the site. They had the A site. 2 of them had to fall back to get the bomb. The other 2 stayed on the site, got demolished by the orb. And obviously Angry was boosted the whole time, so easy pickings for him.
Yeah.
For the player that came back for the bomb. My goodness here, what'd you do with your Endpoint? 12-1 down. Round number 14, the former Premiership champions, remember. Only player remaining from that one obviously is Mighty Max, even the coach is gone.
The weird fact is, as well, is I feel like that is probably one of the biggest key reasons behind Endpoint having these struggles in recent times. It seems like there isn't structure anymore. It seems like it's all quite on the fly. Sure, you got the firepower, but if there's no strategy behind it, it's not really going to work out.
It is true. 5-4 here. Endpoint, obviously, this is the first map coming out of this one, and I imagine it is going to be a Radix map pick. We didn't see the full veto, but you would expect Nuke to be the pick from Endpoint.
Quite a little bit of a Jacob call in there.
What did he say? I didn't actually hear it.
I didn't actually hear it either. Oh, Neff trying to go for the frags as well. We'll get the first and the tag back on there. Pulse, though. Give an inch, he's going to take a mile with it. Snots runs away. Eventually, they get side control.
Oh, the HE grenade here from Bowden could be huge.
Oh, let's see how he's going to opt to play it. Bowden, Molotov out first. Going to be able to light the site ablaze. Max immediately forced to fall back. Goes in for the flashbang as well. This will be Hype's window of opportunity. The HE gets rolled out. Should tag Lazar down to 12 HP. Leaves him in a really dire straits. This could be a retake for Hype now, but he needs to go for it. Has to try and hit him hard and fast. He's on the drive-by. Connects the headshot. Cuts down Lazar. One final frag to find, but he couldn't quite do it. He will be punished by Pulse. But still, that's only a 12-2 scoreline. And the rebuy comes out for Radix.
12-2, as you said. Round number 15. Final round in the first half of Cash. Orb for Border Master. Four M4s to finish off the rest of the CT buy, and actually that money isn't really too affluent considering this is a 12-2 scoreline. It goes to show, you know, the abundance of rounds we've seen from Radix have been close rounds, you know, 2 versus 2s, 3 versus 2s, right? Many of those rounds going in favor of Endpoint at the start and then falling and trickling into Radix's hands. But this one's shaping up to be one for the T's. 4 versus 3 already as Lazza, Max chime in for a frag apiece.
Very true. Yeah, I've got the push coming round.
Oh, we've got a little bit of an insight there.
We do, we got the little Jacom cam.
Tactical insight. Flash for highway for Joe Loose.
Of Jacom. It's a little segment we're adding to the Prem.
There you go, mate. We should have a little Jacom call in.
Maybe, I'll see if we can get hold of him. Push coming round from Endpoint here into towards the B-bomb site though. Hype going to be the one listening out for it. If anyone makes too much noise. Actually, a mistake coming through there from Weber as well. Hype being able to swing wide, get the first frag. Lazza now moves and has to try and get the trade back, but he goes down. It's a 2v2 retake situation. You've both got kits. You've got utility on Bowden as well. And Hype goes straight out and straight to fragging madness. Somehow, no one has stopped Hype. He's just going wild, Snods.
Someone needs to diffuse Hype right now in this situation.
He's just on a mad one. Pulse comes through with the first kill. Oh, Pulse couldn't quite do it. A 4K behind.
The AWP for, dude.
Yeah, but he's going to bring it through into the next half, mate.
Yeah, it's good to see the AWP in the pistol, isn't he?
That's just the type of gamer he is. Wow.
Someone has to diffuse Hype.
What are you doing?
Diffuse.
Hype's got so much potential.
So dumb.
Well, there you have it. 13-2 scoreline. That's not what we expected out of this.
No, not at all. Yeah, we didn't give our predictions. We said a 2-1 potentially or likely for Empire. But then again, you know, I actually feel like this is a... Sorry, I expect it to be 2-1 in favor of Endpoint, right?
Yeah.
I think Train, Nuke go in favor of Endpoint. And I said, you know, Cash could be, you know, competitive, debatable, right? This isn't even closer, Jack. You know, going into a map like Train, for example, you know, if we do give Endpoint Nuke, right? Obviously, Radix have led it through the veto. Maybe they're going to have some nuance there. They're going to have some expertise on that map that we just don't know about. But they've led it through the veto. Maybe there's something to play for there. But on Train, right? At this point, this being their pick, this is not competitive at all. 13-2. Not only are they being outshot, they're being outplayed. The clutches from Endpoint, it's almost as if they're losing to themselves.
It's true. Shots that you feel like they should be hitting, just weird mistakes.
I know it is.
Yeah.
Right now, it's all Hype, Angry, Capers. They're just killing everyone.
Yeah, they really are. That's the thing. Hype's just being able to find huge clutch rounds where towards the latter portions of the round, he'll come in with a max 3K. Angry was just playing the most aggressive CS we've seen, and it was working. I mean, there was only really one time he was punished for it, but...
Well, yeah.
It just seems like they're allowed to play that style of CS without any drawbacks.
First round they won is when Weber shot him through the smoke.
Yeah. Very, very odd there from Endpoint. Strategy just seems to have gone out the window, Snods.
Well, what do you do now if you're Endpoint? 13-2 down. Are you instantly thinking about Nuke already? You know, do I think they can come back from this one? You know, realistically, no.
Well, it's hard, right? That's the factor. Even if you're the best team in the world, 3-round difference between losing or winning a game. Sorry, 3-round difference between losing a game and actually, you know, being able to mount a comeback when you don't have that much of a buffer is tremendously hard because it's going to be constantly back-to-back flawless wins. If somehow Radix play one cheese round here and there, all they've got to do is win 3 of them, they've won the game.
Exactly. If the pistol does go in favor of Radix, then yeah, this is going to be a quickie. This is going to be a 16-2 potentially. And heading into Nuke, Endpoint have to, you know, recompose themselves, rethink about what they have to change, you know, instantly.
And the thing is, right, what level of caliber is we expecting to see on Endpoint's Nuke as well? How much of a pick is this to them that you feel like it's going to be flawless? 16-5
versus Epiphany Bolt is what they had at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Jacob to the roster. Jacob can maybe give some leadership. I mean, the thing was it Ian that tweeted it out, actually, saying about the fact that Jacob, you know, arguing, should he play on the roster instead? You know, does Endpoint need leadership more so inside the server itself, not only, you know, from a bird's eye view? Because I was coaching on this stage, obviously, completely different example. Only one best of 5. Cannot draw any conclusions or any comparisons, obviously. Just going to give that disclaimer. But I felt useless. When we were losing rounds, I felt fairly useless because it's like, you can't talk. If you do, the admin just gives you these evils, comes over and taps you on the shoulder and goes, shut up. So you can't really do too much.
Well, this is the thing, right? That's obviously the issue with the coaching rules that are now in place inside of the scene is you're so restricted. You have such a small period to actually give your opinion or try and help your team.
And what's even more mental is, we know that Jake's calling right now.
Yeah.
Because you can hear it.
Yeah. Well, that's
Flash
the thing.
this for Joe Lazza. Nice round, boys. You know, do that again. This, that, and the other, right? We're hearing Jacob is calling for some of these players.
He's the one directing the team right now in terms of, you know, mid-round calls, or especially you'd imagine as well towards the early game of the calls. He's probably the one calling it and then still being able to keep him on the lead in terms of mid-game calls, and actually Harry wants them to play this, but it's not working.
Actually, a really interesting thing that Zeus from Liquid, oh, this must have been, you know, good 6 months ago, as soon as the new, or 8 months ago when the new coaching rule came out.
Yeah.
He said that one of the issues is teams practice with their coach being able to talk the whole time.
Yep.
And then once they go into the actual, you know, official or onto the LAN, into the stage match where the admin's there denying it, or they control the team speak, for example, and you have no input, suddenly there's a lack of that, you know, that voice that tells you what to do, where to go, how the round's going to be structured, and calls for some players that are rather silent.
Yeah, it is very true. Now then, let's see how it's going to go. This pistol round is so important, and Aaron is showing you exactly what level of damage he can do. This man can be lethal, especially into pistol rounds. This entire Endpoint team can be. Let's see if this is going to be one of those days. Push comes back over towards the A site. Bomb's already down. Post-pump positions have been taken for Radix. But will they find these frags? Weber on the retake. Is able to get that kill back on Bowden as they now all swarm through. Hype, though, still up to his old tricks. Snods, somehow he gets 2 frags. You can see that sense there as well. Bobbing and weaving as he tries to find these kills. Will overextend, a bit of a risky face, but obviously that was the correct decision in his mind. Does go down, as that will be now a 3rd round for Endpoint. One that was so necessary. Yeah,
actually, Cape is going for the old smoke off highway, go towards the A site. One of the things you can do actually is obviously buy PT50, buy Deagle, clear out towards MBK, clear out towards Quad. If you spot no one so far, smoke the cross, flush out towards the A site, swarm the A site. We saw Aaron playing retake towards A, and Green and pulling the trigger potentially too early. Obviously, before the smoke had blossomed and bloomed, he did wide face and gave away that first frag. And obviously, if they had an extra play on the site, that could have easily been the pistol round for Radix. You know, just off the man numbers, just having off that extra player to bait for, to be baited for, to also peek off someone else's contact. You never know. But 4 FAMAS buy and an M4 buy from Weber. The reason being is the bomb was planted, so we see the full eco now from Radix.
Weber just going for the tap shots. Hype actually kills him. Hits him with a guillotine as he finds his head. More damage to be done coming through, though. Actually, only 1 casualty thus far for Endpoint, so it's good. They need to try and keep that economy building. In reality, for their side, keep those buys out constantly if they do make mistakes, as Radix will really be able to capitalize off the back of that. Both them incredibly low on that T side, though. Nate going to be rolling in. There's actually the smoke to block off Bowden's position. Aaron be pushing up towards the boss. That goes down to Neff as he connects the kill with the P250. So they do force out 2 rebuys for Endpoint. Not the worst thing in the world, but it is a bomb plant for Radix as well.
14 to 13 then. Excuse me. 4 to 13.
Yeah, they wish it was 14 to 13.
Yeah, I know, they do. Reminds me, actually, do you remember the Pat's Money Crew game we saw, Jack? On Cobblestone?
I do, versus
when
Endpoint.
Endpoint were up 13 to 4, and Endpoint lost it.
Yeah.
16 to 14.
Wasn't a pretty sight.
Wasn't the most prettiest sight, yeah. No, but for Endpoint, obviously, they had a slow start to UKCSGO. Main, for example, they brought that back. I think they won 8 matches or 7 matches in a row to bring that one back to playoffs, to make it to playoffs. The problem is, they're obviously making it at the end, obviously, meant they had a very poor seed. Their first matchup, actually, I believe it's next week, is versus Havu, the Finnish team. So quite a difficult start going into that one. That is the 2nd seed team in ESCA main. Obviously, then if Endpoint win the best of 3 versus Havu, they then claim 2nd seed, so that, you know, bodes really well going into the latter stages of the ESCA playoffs. But, you know, in terms of getting back into Premier, Jack, Prem's definitely the, don't want to say easiest way. Let's put it like this, you know, some of the teams in ESCA main right now playoffs are going to be harder than some of your, you know, Wind and Rains and whatnot.
Yeah, it's true, and it's also the fact that this is the quickest way you can now secure a spot, right? You look at the position they're in. Land finals in a week, Snods, right? So what we're talking here, we're talking the 14th or 15th, right, going into next week. At that point, all you really need to do is win a best of 3 and a best of 5 to get yourself a spot back into Premier. Look at the alternatives, right? It's going to be much harder going through the normal.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's going to be so much harder for them because they're going to be kicking themselves, because that alone is one of the major reasons why you want to win the Prem. You want to get yourselves into Premier. That Premier spot's so lucrative.
Wow. Minute 30 left on the clock here. Slow round coming out from both sides. Obviously, for Radix, they know that they can still throw this game as potentially. They are 9 rounds up, but not everything in life is certain apart from death taxes. And I was trying to think of something witty there, Jack, but I couldn't.
You failing jokes? It's always certain.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Me missing jokes as well. References going over my head.
And you missing shots? Whee.
Whee. That's why we're here. Minute now. Slow play from both teams. The pressure's definitely on. For Endpoint, obviously, they lose a round, they go 14-4. Down 10 round disadvantage. The money's going to be into tattered as well. The round loss bonus will be back into 1400. The game's pretty much as good as done there, Jack. And for Radix, they do not want to be conceding these rounds early on. They do not want to give any room to Endpoint.
So Weber gets the first kill, though. Angry extends out, as per usual, and he will try and flex on Weber, but it isn't going to go down like that, right? And we fall back into a 4 versus 5. Grouped up play. Terrorists want to try and be troublesome towards the B site. So they go for a bit of a brutal play. They're going to just slowly tiptoe in. Max actually will now be tested. He's only just realized what's gone on. Finds the kill on Hype, but does he know the location of Neff and Co? Snods?
We'll go for the wide face. Max finding the second frag from Seth into this one. 2 versus 4 now. Burdenmaster up low HP. Capers chimes in as well. We'll find one until last, but apart from that, Aaron will find the final frag there on to Capers and find the frag for his fallen brethren. Joe Ducky loose. 5-13 though, round number 19, Jack. Radix still looking strong here, obviously. First 2 rounds into the second half had gone in favor of Endpoint, but we do see the quasi buy coming from Radix, so maybe a 13-6 now for Endpoint. You know, bring this one back 7 rounds within touching distance. But yeah, I mean, for Endpoint on the CT side, do they try and replicate exactly what Radix did? You know, holding for the pushes. Obviously, for Endpoint, it really was his afterplants being so poor.
Max gets the first kill, though. Kills Hype. And everyone else is grouped up outside of A. As there is a bit of a queue. Falling back as well, going to recover the bomb and try and work out how they actually want to play this one. Luzzer does find the frag on towards Angry, though. It's only 3 men left on that T side, Snod. So these rounds a little bit slower for Radix. Not really going for anything too shock and awe. Not trying to run the risk. They're actually playing it very slow, but just being picked to pieces because they don't have the range advantage. No utility either, so really starved now to the latter portions of this round. Doesn't look like there's chance for a bomb plant.
Yeah. Obviously the goal there for Radix, getting the bomb down, getting extra cash to work with into round number 20. Strong defense so far from Endpoint, and an actual key to victory on the comeuppance here, getting back into this one, is actually having a good economy. They cannot afford to be broken after 1 loss. They cannot have the scenario where they lose the round, they goes 14-6, for example, and then suddenly they have no cash, they're forced into Famas' UMPs. The game's pretty much as good as done there, Jack. Yeah,
that is true. At that point, you're pretty broken. You're pretty left in a hole that you dug yourself, essentially. But let's see how it will go now. Obviously, a rebuy coming here for Radix. You've got the AKs, you've got tons of utility as well, Snods. They're grouped up, they're going for more of an aggressive play. It's going to be the burst off the back of the flashbang as they just conga line their way towards the B-bomb site. Grenade goes down, but Neff with the first execution. Max needs to get a huge spray, but he doesn't get 2 frags. Only 1. And this means the site can be controlled. He hasn't really delayed them enough. So this could be awkward.
Oh, Angry. Still pushing, even though they have the site through CT. Still waiting patiently. Aaron jumping up there towards CT. Luz with the AWP as well, coming in towards Heaven. All 3 players from Endpoint rotating in via CT, which means there's no flank from Vent, there's no flank from B main. Instead, the smokes and utility can really warden off the CT side here and delay this retake even further.
Well, Bowden tries to go for a backstab play. He's been killed by Weber, so it is a 3v3 retake now, but time is of the essence. You have double kit, but you need to go for it. They have to push in. There's a smoke wall. They've been blinded as well. Time's even less now. They push through. Aaron gets the first kill, takes down Capis. More to be done as they struggle, and Angry with a backstab. A double kill as Radix will get themselves another round, and they're ever closer now to match point. And at the minimum, an overtime safety net. That's 1 round away.
Yeah. Especially as well if they get to overtime here, Jack. 15-6 up. That's 9 match points to work with. 1 mistake from Endpoint over the course of 9 rounds would send us straight to nuke, with Radix taking the 1 map advantage. So heavily favoured here for Radix going into their map pick. But do we see, 2-1 happening here tonight? We did, actually these teams, especially online as well, are going to be fairly matched. Far more, matched than the names on paper, right? Neff, Capers versus the likes of, Aaron and Weber or Angry, Hype, for example, right? Obviously, Hype before he had a good stint in MDL playing Ducks, but the question is, is this an example of the old school players, Aaron, Weber, Pulse, being outdone by these newer players, obviously? Border Master, Rank S. Angry, I believe, Rank S as well. You know, the players that are grinding it out hours and hours, 100 hours past 2 weeks, for example. Is experience, is, you know, being a part of the old guard, for example, no longer good enough?
Well, it's also the fact that the start of CS has been played by Radix. It's very hyper-aggressive, especially for Angry, just in your face consistently. It doesn't matter what he's doing, you'll see overextensions, but for some reason it's working out for him. And you imagine as well for Endpoint, they're probably not expecting plays off that. You're not expecting to just be backstabbed or just be raw aggressively pushed like that. Radix definitely playing with a high tempo and with tons of confidence. It's working well. Max, though, finds the first frag into this one, as he will kill Angry, just walks directly into him. Aaron as well, the elevated angle working out absolutely fabulously, as Endpoint will pick up that one and actually deny a match point being claimed by Radix.
14-7 then here, Jack. Round number 22. Endpoint bringing it back and securing the win into the last one. Radix obviously had the 13-2 half. They win their first round. They get reset. They are going to give the force by now. This is actually really good for Endpoint. They can bring this back to maybe a 14-9 scoreline. Endpoint win this round, 14-8. Then Anika comes out from Radix. 14-9 potentially for Endpoint. So definitely can bring this back, you know, within 5 rounds. That's winnable. At bare minimum, even potentially overtime as well. So maybe they can slogfest this one back, but the flashbang comes through towards A main as the burst does begin.
Yeah, just depends on these upset rounds if there's going to be a little bit of an inkling of Radix actually getting momentum again. But Weber finds 2. Hype already in the back line, but luckily Weber to snap his head as he finds that kill. And Lazar for the final blow on Angry, as it now goes 8-14 and Radix are broken in terms of their economy.
Yeah. Closing the distance here slowly. Seems like battle of the CT sides into this one. Obviously, we know both teams have skill. Endpoint, Lazar, Weber, Aaron, Max, Pulse as well. All 5 of these players in the rosters, you know, in terms of skill, you can't argue this is definitely the highest skilled roster Endpoint's had. You know, in terms of strategy, leadership, you know, we don't know. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, Lazar finds himself a hat-trick of frags, really making the money shots on the eco here, as he just blows in the bits nods. Wants to try and go for the ace, will miss the flick. Bowden, the last man left alive, doesn't care about getting the ace, he just wants to hold on to the AWP, he'll run away, and Pulse will come through to execute Bowden.
Yeah, that's one of the observer's nightmares, isn't it? The player that shouldn't be getting the kills gets all the kills. The player that should be getting the kills just doesn't have a chance because everyone's dead.
Absolutely Lazard.
He's shaking his head. He knows. He knows. He knows.
Classic Potter.
Classic Potter.
Potter!
What are we going to do with you?
There's a troll in the dungeon!
Oh dear. Round number 24 here though, 14-9. 5 round deficit though, nevertheless. Though for Endpoint, even though they have brought this back, fairly strong. Grouping up outside B. Bomb making its way in towards B main as well. This time it's going to be the entry for Radix. Last time towards the B started winning their favor. Can they do it again, of course? It's a bare minimum overtime.
Well, Pulse going for the play. He'll be able to get this trade back into effect. Weber also helping them out. Oh, Lazar with a bit of an awkward miss. Luckily, he's able to get out of there before he goes down. Site control taken from the T's. You got utility, you got positions to work with, but can they actually make this one work now? There's still potential for the retake from Endpoint. They got bits of utility sprinkled in there for good measure as well, Snods, and still got a bit of time, because they don't have to go for this commit just yet. Bowden actually once again extending out, trying to go for these plays as he roams around. Takes down Weber. It's now a 3v3. Bit of a stalemate into the round.
See, the Molotov goes in. Both players from Radix in towards the site here. K-Piz, Neth both go down. They know exactly where Bodemaster is, alone towards B main. So, easy frag found. Bomb will be defused. And 14-10. Radix, even though they found the first frag towards B, onto Mighty Max. The trades towards middle. Pulse towards vent as well. Isn't traded out eventually from one of the players from Radix. Allowed to run rampant still. And there you have it. 4 rounds behind now for Endpoint. Radix are going to start to get a bit nervous here soon.
That is true. It's actually a double up setup that comes through here as well. Max and Luz are going to be wielding those on that CT side. The AK buy comes in. Radix, they play with aggression here and actually play their cards right. This double up setup could be a bit awkward for Endpoint.
Yeah, Radix obviously, so far they have been going for more of the grouped, you know, flashbang, get in towards the site sort of plays. In terms of map control, it has been fairly lackluster. They have been trying to go towards middle, but it's been shot down each and every time by Weber, by Lazza. For Radix, obviously, or should I say for Endpoint, is the double upset of the right call to make.
Ooh. Well, one of the orbs doesn't work out. That's the primary one down as well, as Lazza just gets slain by Angry. He's caused an opening at mid as well, so we can now try and actually go for the backstabber, or at the very least keep Endpoint on their toes. Weber, only one frag before he goes down in the blaze of glory there, the Molotov to Bowden, but Max comes back through. Starting to deal some damage with his orb.
Yeah, 3 versus 3 now actually into this one. Hype, low HP, coming back in towards the B site is all 3 players. Paul's going to be hearing the footsteps making his mark in towards B site. Then is broken, but for Radix, can they get the bomb planted to get some extra cash to work with into the next one? As this retake should be in the favor of Endpoint when you look at the health and the kits.
Well, they've got time to go for the plant, as they will be able to get it down before the confrontation comes in, but Hype needed to get that kill really here. Realistically, if they were going to win it, they wanted to try and stop that backstab. Now they can not really focus on one angle. You can see both are going to be a bit timid about this. They're caught off guard as well. Capers and Neff were trying to reposition. They go down as they fall to Max and Pulse. That'll be a defuse, an 11-14 scoreline now.
Yeah, Max running all the way back towards Highway, going to be picking up his orb from the corpse that he left there earlier on. 14 to 11 then. Radix. Only finding 1 round so far. Actually, Chris, our observer, can we see the scoreboard, please, just to look at the round and how it's really gone? Yeah, only 1 round found so far for Radix, and apart from that, 9 here for Endpoint on their CT side. Remember, it was the 13-2 half, and we said before it even started, Jack, it could be losable for Radix. I didn't think so, but we've been wrong before, and this is going to be one of those times.
It's true. It's very, very true. And obviously for Radix, now they're starting to lose the element they had, really, which was the fact that Endpoint was so low in rounds that it would have been constant strings of flawless plays to actually get them into this position. But that's literally what's happened now. So Endpoint really stepping up in the latter stages of the game. Lazza trying to go for this early frag. Capers detects him. If he overextends, that could be awkward, but as of right now, he's done a bit of damage as they group up outside of A and want to go for a late round burst, it seems.
Yeah, just going to be leaving Neff alone towards the B site. 4-1 start of CS. 4 players towards the A site. Neff alone towards Beacon. Uses grenades, smoke towards B main, flash in towards checkers, Molotov checkers as well. Try and still a fake and have the remaining players from Radix go in towards the A site. But then again, actually making some noise towards middle. Max. We tag down fairly low through the smoke there from Neff. Pulse as well onto low HP, so Endpoint have the advantage in terms of the man numbers, but the HP bars are still low.
Oh, spam coming around from Weber. He's trying to rack up a couple of kills there, but couldn't actually manage it. Goes down to Capers. Angry as well. Always going for these plays. Charges straight out. And actually this time it bites him, as he will fall short there. Goes down to Aaron. They hit him with the aggression on the A site. Lazza just lying in wait with the CZ. It can always be deadly in close range, but if they extend around, it depends how it goes. Finds the first kill. There's a trade back from Hype. Look how low everyone is on Endpoint as well. Snods on the retake. This is not going to be easy for him.
Question mark now for Radix. Do they overface and give away the frags here potentially? Orbs traded out here. 2 AKs now for both Max and Pulse. Diffuse kits, no Molotovs to flush out the peaks, but instead they're going to go for the wide face. Hype with the orb gets away with the 1 frag as well, and Capers connects the last one to Mighty Max, 15 to 11. But with how this, second half has been shaping up, Jack, this could definitely be overtime for Endpoint. They could bring this one back, only 4 rounds, remember. 2 players survived from the last round, so if Endpoint win this one, they can try and reset the money for Radix, and then, we could easily be seeing a 15-14 to 4, so 16-14 win for Radix, or obviously the 15-15 overtime draw.
Yeah. It needs to be 4 rounds now, back-to-back for Endpoint. That's a good start from Lazza. Swats down Angry as he gets the initial frag, and actually does give him the advantage play in terms of the battle of attrition. For Radix, though, where do they go from this position? 4 members remain. Bowden just holding for a push to come out through the B site. Oh, Capers as well. Spots out Pulse there. Does get an early tag, but can't really convert that.
Yeah, first frags have gone in favor now for Endpoint. Lazza and Weber, as you said. 4 smoke towards middle means Capers will eventually be going down there from the quick snap from Lazza's orb. 5 versus 2 now. as we do go into the slower stages of this round and slower stage of this matchup as well. Radix going to be able to cash now after this one, going back down to the $1,400 reset. And this does, you know, potentially put overtime on the cards for me. I really do feel like Endpoint can take this one in OT.
Well, it's basically going to be 13 rounds for Endpoint, really, if they lose this one for Radix, unless there's something crazy that comes out. From there, they should actually get themselves to within the region of 13-15. Then Radix are pretty much going to be on their last legs anyway.
Yeah, it depends what they do. It depends if Radix force the next round after now being reset, so that obviously Endpoint win that one, it's 15-13. Then an eco from Radix, 15-14. So maybe there's only 2 AK buys between overtime or Radix victory here on the first map and sending us to nuke.
Well, nothing's written in stone. Wait this one out. Seems like they should be able to get away with at least saving both of these guns. So it's still 2 weapons for Radix. They're not going to lose the AWP or the AK. Hype, and luckily they're stacked with utility as well. Their pockets were lined very deep. Hype just needs to stay alive here, and we'll get through.
Number 28 then, Jack. 15-12 now. This is more the scoreline we're expecting here. A close match on Cash. And if Radix are going to take this best of 3, they need to get it done here on Cash. They have to finish the job that they've started here, because on Nuke, we've seen Endpoint being extremely prolific on that map so far. 16-5 versus Epiphany Bolt. Obviously, Epiphany Bolt having many struggles. Flashbang comes in and will delay the push momentarily, but it is going to be a B concept play now from Radix. So they group up. The Molotov from Pole should delay them momentarily.
Set them ablaze with a Molotov. Max peeks out, finds the kill on K-Piz. Pulse as well, slam dunks there as he obliterates Neff, and all of a sudden there's just 3 men remaining on that T-side. They're getting picked to pieces as well. Just obliterated by that AWP defense. It's just Bowden last alive. That's not gone well. That's the investment as well, Snods, which means most likely Endpoint now going to be really teetering and actually forcing this into overtime.
Bowden Master now last alive. May actually try and save the AWP, obviously, but then again, he may have no buy into the last round number 30. Difficult decision to actually make here apart from that. It looks like it will be the save here. Gonna put for the exit frags, obviously.
The thing that's awkward as well, Snods, right? Is you look at the veto, Radix, they win cash. If they lose nuke, it's not the worst deal in the world, right? We're going to then move over to train a map they can play very efficiently.
I'm surprised Cobble's not here, actually. I thought it was going to be Cobble as the second map.
And this is the factor that letting nuke slip in like that, if Endpoint actually now come back, bring this back, actually upset win in overtime, then they win on nuke, which is a map they're definitely favourites on. It's not going to be good. That'd be a swift 2-0, and that'd actually be Radix looking like they're going to win this and actually take it possibly a 2-1 in the series to being 2-0'd. It wouldn't be great for them.
Well, this is the eco round we spoke about here, being 15-13, down 2 rounds away from OT. But, you know, if this goes full UK fashion, this could be the round where Radix actually win.
Yeah, it is true. CZ Buy comes out on one player.
Rush towards A.
Yeah.
We've seen it here far too many times.
Well, it is only the P250 investment on Angry, but nevertheless, if he goes full SEO, it could be pretty good.
He is good with that pistol.
Ben's sick with a P250.
He is really good with the P250.
Ooh, Max, though, he's good at plucking people out of the air as they find the first frag. Doesn't matter what acrobats you can do, as everyone gets punished by Pulse as well. It's just Bowden left. You've given him an AWP, but they're not really going to give him an opportunity to actually wield the weapon to a good position. He's forced to consistently be roaming around, trying to go for his face. He's being spammed from all angles. Does go down. Endpoint very close now to overtime. 1 round away as Radix get their last dished attempt, the final buy.
Round number 30. And here we go. 2 AWPs once again for Endpoint, bringing out the same buy time and time again. But, you know, could you blame them, though? It's been working so far. Obviously, the money in the court here from the CT side, having won, apologies, 12 rounds so far. Last with the duel towards them, we'll concede the first frag now.
Ooh, there's some hugging going on towards mid as well. That's not great. Frags come through there. This is going to be an Endpoint round. This looks like overtime is now on the cards as it's just Bowden and K-Piz left in a 3v2. It needs to be a huge round coming out from if they want to win this. Bowden with the early contact face as well. Scoping in and hoping to knock him out of the park with this AWP. K-Piz instead going to be planting the bomb as they get ready for this attack to come through. There's a backstab as well from Weber. He's going to rotate around. Bogan going to try and fight this. Goes down. Spots him out, but Weber with the headshot. It's all up to Capers. It would need to be a clutch from the King as he peeks out and finds the first headshot, but he couldn't quite net himself a second. Is obliterated by the AWP there as he goes for the extension. And that will be a 15-15, meaning we're going into overtime.
15-15. 13-2 advantage for Radix. That wasn't enough though, was it, Jack?
No. It wasn't enough. I mean, quite possibly the best first half we could have expected from them. Everything was going their way. All the stars had aligned. Everything was coming up Millhouse. And
mate, we were talking about Train.
It went wrong.
We were talking about Train at that point. Know. We were like, yeah, Radix, they can't lose this one. 13-2 up. Surely they get 3 rounds on their T side, especially with how good their aim's been so far. Nuke, yeah, you know, should go in Endpoint's favor. And then Train. But here we are, in overtime. And this is where Radix win.
CT side start for Endpoint though. Both of these teams had phenomenal CT sides, so that is going to be the awkward asterisk going into this OT.
Wow. Radix not going to be extending so far. Usually it's Angry that runs through the smokes here. Obviously in that last round they found the first frag, Bottom Master catching out Lazar. Then Angry running through the smoke, for example, towards mid-main. Giving away their first frag. But he does play rather audacious, doesn't he?
He is quite cheeky. He does love to give it.
I'm not sure if it's tilt or just stupidity.
Ooh.
I'm joking, I'm joking, I'm joking.
But very hyper-aggressive player in terms of the way Azix plays this. Lives up to his name, Snods.
He's livid. He's livid. No. Obviously, in terms of aggression, it's not going to work every single time. He has found some very good entry so far, playing this aggressive style. But also cost them many rounds.
Yeah, kind of leaving a bit of an awkward spot. Right now, talking about awkward things going on towards the B-bomb site as this push tries to come through. Neff will slay Max. Weber is a trade, though. Drops straight into the crosshairs of Capers, but it's only 2 men remain. Capers with the AWP, starting to deal these deadly shots that we need to see coming through from him, though. He has to be this superstar sniper if he wants to win the round. Goes for the play through the close smoke. As he tries to peek out, actually going to reposition. Falls back, plays from the checkers area. Hype as well, just runs straight across. It's an AK and AWP versus an M4 and AWP on the retake. Both of them are kits as Endpoint go in. He's going to get the first round of the overtime off the back of this clutch. Hype. If he goes for the peek, he should be able to find the headshot. We'll get one, but trades back on the M4 there from Aaron. Will now tap the bomb, try and force the face, but he could just hold this. Capers might actually not be able to get on site in time. This should be the round. And nearly the frag as well. Capers knows to just hunker down and attempt to stay alive, but he falls short. Doesn't work out well. Aaron slays him. 16-15 as the first round of OT goes the way of Endpoint.
Surely that's the map here, done and dusted. Radix not only going to be having the tilt from conceding a 13-2 first half here, coming into the second half, eventually going into overtime, both teams having a 13-2 half on their CT side. Losing such a round with the bombs planted, default not planted for the 2 players playing in towards checkers. If the tilt wasn't high enough, that might just be its peak. That's obviously, if they put 100% effort into that one, Jack, they would have won it.
Yeah, that is true. Only putting 50% effort in. Right now, though, Radix, as they try and go for this play, grouping up towards the A site. Needs to be something juicy coming out from them. They have to try and get a few rounds together on this T side. I mean, if Endpoint get all 3 rounds into this half...
Oh, it's over.
Yeah, that's when there's no coming back, really. It's going to be so hard. But let's wait and see. At least 1 round would potentially allow them to try and push this back into a double overtime scenario as they get ready for this push to come out. But if a failed Molotov from Weber there as he repositions, Hype with the initial frag on B as well. You can see the CTs were dubious about this, but they commit to it and they hold their stack they have on the site with all 3 members that are there. Radix actually still push in. They'd be walking into the only site that has men on it right now. Pulse, though, towards mid. Catches off Hype as he finds that frag. Still 39 seconds on the clock as it starts to tick down.
4 versus 3. I think of the 3 versus 3 now as Weber chimes in for 2. Tries to land with the 3rd as well. Neff was dinked up though onto 4 HP. Bottom Master swings wide. Pulse with the HE will dunk the frag as well and connect it with perfect chemistry and timing. 17 now to 15. And conversely, Radix before were the ones that kept winning in disadvantageous positions. You know, 2-3 down, 2 versus 3 down, 4 versus 3 down. And now it's Endpoint bringing it back here from the brink of defeat. 17-15, one more round here for Endpoint to close it out. All 3 rounds going in their favor. And again, as we said here before, Jack, if it is a 18-15 half here, we are favoring Mighty Max and the boys going into the second half T-side for themselves.
It's true. There's not really much you can do with it if you get left in that scenario. Obviously, one round you lose, that's it. Well, frags start to come through though, Bowden does kill Mighty Max, but there's a response from Lazar with the AWP as well. Weber has been fabulous into the overtime. You can see he's really starting to give it his all now, back into it, immediately realizing we can't be losing this.
It's basic CS, boys. 1 versus 4 now. Master last alive. Minute of left on the clock. We'll find 1 frag there, but not before it was dicked up to 14 HP. So now the cross, actually going to make it away scot-free there. Actually, Lazar not going to go for the facing. Potentially concede that frag. Bomb will be retrieved here by Master. 55 seconds left here.
Master though, still in the 1v3. That's 3 men to kill with his Bowden Blaster as he tries to push his way out. Lazar just going to be scoping in as well. Hungry and waiting for this. Listen to those audio cues. As the confrontation isn't there for Endpoint, they allow him to get onto the site. Then they're going to go for this retake. Tons of utility for Endpoint as well. Well, the same could not really be said for Radix, especially in terms of the firepower. It's a 3v1, peeks out, gets the first, but Weber with the trade, and that is 18-15. 3 rounds on the trot, picked up for Endpoint. 1 is all they need now, Snods, on the second half.
1 more round, and then after that one more map as well to close this one out in favor of Endpoint.
This is going to be awkward, really, for Radix at this point. I mean, what do you do going into this?
I mean, what do you do?
They've got nothing left.
Oh, dear. Yeah, 3 match points now for Endpoint. Obviously, conversely, it was Radix that had the match points to work with. What was it, 15-11, I believe it was? Yeah, 15-11. They threw that one away down the sink. And now 3 match points for Endpoint. Obviously, the experience onto some of these players. Weber, Aaron, and whatnot. Max. We'll argue about that one another time potentially, but the idea of closing out games.
You said Max ain't experienced?
No, but Endpoint's always had an issue of closing out games.
Oh, okay.
Max is extremely experienced.
That's why I was confused.
No.
With this.
It was more so in my head. I was thinking about closing out the game.
All right.
And obviously, that's been one of the issues here for Endpoint, is actually closing out some of these leads.
Don't you talk about Deadly like that. It's been around for years, mate.
Oh, dear.
Max has been playing the game since when he had a bedtime.
And his pyjamas on.
I've got my jammies on. Aaron, ready to try and be a bit jammy into this round, though, as the push comes out. Let's see if he can get the entry and actually be able to get some success behind the Endpoint roster when they go over boost. It's still very slow for Endpoint right now, trying to force this out from Radix, see if they're going to overcompensate, push in too deep. Aaron, though, struggling. It's actually Angry to get a huge tag towards him. Nearly the frag on Pulse. This is where you should have gone for the double face, try and do some damage, capitalize off the back of that Cape on the trade there as well. But Angry refaces. He's so low. 3 HP, but he's still going for peaks. This man's full of confidence.
Oof. 2 versus 3 now. Player advantage for Radix. Neff alone towards the A side, towards Forklift. Going to be hearing the steps in towards A main. And here it comes. Endpoint, can they get the job done here in the first round of their second half on T side? Ooh.
Oh no.
He's doing it sideways.
Oh, Max obviously trying to go for the plant there. Seems a bit risky in overtime, but obviously you lose the round either way, so not really going to work out well for him. Just starve for time. But nevertheless, it has to be flawless for Radix if they do want to go into a double overtime. 1 round loss for that side will mean Endpoint take success and actually find themselves a victory, Snots.
2 more match points, as you said. Lazar winning the AWP into this one once again. Bottom master this time. The CT side. Off angle towards Sandbags. Lazar exploits that one, finds the frag onto Angry. 5 versus 4 now as it's going to be a storm towards the A side. Neff the Molotov should delay the split momentarily.
So you get the first pick on the side of Endpoint. Second pick now as well as Neff goes down. This could actually be the round here for them unless Bowden can do something any more crazy, but he's slain by Aaron. Capers and Hyper, the only two remaining CT members, and they're not in a good position, Snods. This retake is going to be awful.
4 versus 2. Bomb planted now for Endpoint. Ooh, Lazar missing the slight adjustment there on the op. Overflex that one.
It's them biceps for you.
It's also the hair as well, must have got in the way.
Yep.
Cars for days, not only in the gym. Man advantage now for Endpoint, even the Lazar goes down. Hype in towards Forklift, will tag up Pulse, will actually connect the last bullets as well remaining. Ooh, actually gets another one as well. Aaron overfaces into this one. Weber, 1 versus 1.
Brandon Weber, he needs to do it. Can he roll back the years with some sort of styling on his opponent? He's going to be able to try and get the Molotov down. Didn't quite get it off. Oh, Hype jumps on the bomb. He's just going to get it in the last second, I believe.
If he had thrown the
Molotov, that was it.
Well, Hype had a smoke, but obviously you have to get the smoke out, extinguish it, then defuse. So it would have been extremely close.
It would have really pushed it even further on the timing, but ring around the rosy is not Weber's forte.
Do you think?
Well, he died playing a game Ring around the rosy, so yeah.
Maybe.
A tissue.
We all fall down. Huh. It's very true. Obviously, you're so dizzy, couldn't even throw the Molotov in the right place.
You do get quite dizzy running in circles, to be honest.
You do. Oh my, this could be double overtime, Jack. Our favourite.
It's looking like it. It's like a wafer. A double whammy. Well, let's see. Push comes through. Lazar is instantly dropped. He's angry with these mid pushes. He's still going for him. He's never being punished.
Yeah. Very aggressive. Extremely aggressive at that. 5 versus 4. Oh my goodness, he's still giving it, Jack.
Someone put a muzzle on him. How's he getting away with this, Nods?
I know, he's got a silencer on it, still dying around the smoke, maneuvering around the smoke itself and exploiting that one. 5 versus 3. It seems like fate. This game will never end.
Yeah, definitely could be. Double OT. That bodes well for Radix as well. That now means they get the CT side start in the overtime, which is going to be really, really great for them.
That is actually very true.
Yeah.
That is very, very, very true.
These teams have only won CT rounds.
Yeah, so what's that now? 16-2 in terms of CT rounds for both these teams.
Mm-hmm. Max finds the headshot back on towards Angry, but Max actually keeps it going as well. Oh, Max could be so pivotal, but it just depends if the Mighty can step it up. Snods as he's trying to beat him down. Leaves him in the dust. Mighty Max really starting to get the blood pumping through his veins. It's all up to the Lithuanian lunatic to try and clutch the round, but he can't do it. That's an ace for Max as he grabs everyone else on the Endpoint roster, puts them on his back, and wins the round.
Well, ace from Mighty Max. We were saying, you know, 16-2 in terms of CT rounds into this matchup. We were expecting it to go to the distance once again to double overtime.